Got it. Hello, if you're watching on a replay, let me know. If you're watching live, say hi. I hope everybody's having a good Monday. I'll wait a couple seconds, just for a couple minutes, let everybody pop on, say hi. Happy Monday. As you log on, tell me hi. Tell me if you're knitting or crocheting on something, what you're working on. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Joyce. Everything is slow to do anything today. Oh, now it's coming in. Hi, Linda. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Jean. Jean says you're working on your Puget Sound. Charlene, hi. Hi, Donna. E. Everybody's popping on now. Melissa's on here working on her shawlography. Hi, Julie. Hi, Mondo. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Stacy. Lori. Jackie, so far behind on Stephen West. That's okay. There's no competition. It's fun to knit along with everybody else, but don't pressure yourself on it. Sarah working on Happy Accident. What new thing to cast on? Cheryl working on reversible cable scarf. Mondo wave. Hi, Jackie. Lisa working on your husband's socks in the Winifred yarn. Yes. One of my things on my to-do list is to put a new order in with Brie for Ridiculous, and that Winifred color is a good one. It's a good seller. That's one of the colors I used in my Snarkometer, my Casapinka shawl. Oh, you guys, I forgot to put my shawl on. You can't see what I'm wearing if I'm not wearing anything. Oh, Melissa is just starting Clue 2. Hope to catch up this week. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Tammy. Julie working on the shawlography. On the bottle's almost done. Yeah, I went over to the other side of the state this weekend and I got to see some other shawlographies in progress with Julie's and Melissa's, and they're looking really cool. It's just so neat to see how everybody's making the same thing, but the colors look so different. Holly finished the Narcometer, awesome. Shawlography Clue 3. Queenie Shawl. Bonnie, you like Libby Johnson patterns. I know that's one of the people that you go to. Her and Helen Stewart, right? Hi, Mom. Okay, so I will go ahead and get started. So hi, everybody. If you're just coming on, say hi. Tell me what you're working on, what your current projects are. If you're watching this on a replay, post in the comments that you're watching it on a replay. I like to know who watches it later. Let me know if you have any questions. This video stays up on Facebook even after the live is over. So you can always go back and rewatch things in the future. If you can't be with me Monday nights at 7, then you can always catch it sometime later in the week. Tammy's casting on Hitchhiker. Hi, Mary Kay. Saginaw Sunset because Simon and Garfunkel. Oh, okay. So today is October 25th. Thank you for joining me for Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. Shop hours, marketplace hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Hi, Debbie. Janet crocheting a baby blanket. Hi, Nicole. Aileen working on Tunisian crochet sweater. Awesome. Tunisian crochet is something that I want to do more of. I did one little sample once and it's such a cool technique. It's like weaving and knitting and crocheting all in one. It's such a neat fabric too. So let's start with what I'm wearing. What I am wearing is the Garden Trellis shawl. Let's see, do I want to talk about construction? Oh, yes. See, that's why Melissa is my behind the scenes angel. She actually remembers to remind me about the things I was supposed to remember anyway. I wanted to mention, I forgot last week and the week before, there is some serious construction going on down here around the marketplace. If you've not been down, don't be discouraged if you try to come down. I have no idea how long the construction is going to go for, but between the marketplace and the river is Water Street. They have it blocked off so you can only go north on river. You can't go south. So you can't turn from Genesee. If you come over that bridge by where the Bancroft used to be, you can't turn south on river that way. And if you go around to the next street over, they have it, it looks like you can't go that way either because they have an arrow sign around the corner, but you can. They've been really good about, at least during daytime hours, keeping a car lane open to go through. The parking lot is still accessible and open. If you come here during market hours, the outdoor farmers market hours, which are now Wednesday and Friday 10 till 3, you can't park where the pavilion is. But if you come after 3 or on Thursday, you can park right along the pavilion, and Federal Road ends at the pavilion, but you can turn down Federal and snake your way through also. Just be careful about pedestrians and stuff. So don't be discouraged if you decide that it's too much and you don't want to try and fuss with any of that. I can do curbside pickup and drop off. So if there's something that you want, let me know. You can pull up to the side of the building and I can run it out to you. I have no problem doing that. I'd be happy to. Marcina working on shawlography. Joyce working on Copper Rose sweater and Fairy Maiden socks. Oh, everybody's working on such cool stuff. Okay, so got that out of the way. What am I wearing? The Garden Trellis shawl. This shawl is made with, yes, Tammy says street parking too on Washington. It's limited, and if you have a compact car, it's a lot easier because it's parallel parking. But it is there. I can't put out to the universe that the AT&T parking lot is mostly empty most of the time. I can't tell you guys to park there because I don't know. I haven't heard that they enforce anything, but I'm just gonna leave that there. So the Garden Trellis shawl is knit with a gradient kit from Earth Yarns, Merino gradient. It takes 200 grams of fingering weight yarn, and it's got these cool drop stitches, which I like in patterns like this because it elongates your shawl so much more than what you would normally get with a 2-color shawl. So I got this sample in, and then I'll have to look at the pattern and see if it actually calls for it, but the sample, I didn't make this, they sent it to me. It has a little crocheted edge all the way around. It's easier to see up here, which kind of just brings it all together. So I don't know if that's in the actual pattern or not. Hi, Bev. So this takes one of Earth's Merino gradient kits. which I just got in. The kits come with four 50-gram skeins of fingering weight yarn in a gradient, dark to light, light to dark. This blue color is the same as the shawl that I'm wearing, just so you can get an idea. I've got a few in stock of each. I wasn't sure how much I could get. I got a few. So Melissa put the details in there. Fingering weight yarn, $52.99 for the kit. That comes in the little package with the 4 50-gram skeins, and a printed copy of the pattern is in there. We'll make sure you get the digital copy of it too. Mom says yes for the kit. Well, I'm assuming, Mom, you want blue too. So before we get, before I show you the colors, I have the blues, I have reds, I have turquoises, and I have grays. It would be great for this. It would also, I think, be really cool in a butterfly shawl as a gradient versus just having little stripes of color. Just a thought. Okay, so I've got the blues. If I had known they were going to send me a sample in blues, I would have gotten more. I do only have 2 kits in the blues, but I will be reordering. So if you want to be on a wait list for that, we can. So the reds, here are the reds, dark to light. I like that they come in these little zipper pouches too. I have customers where I try to separate things for them when they order more than one thing. This makes it easy. So there are the reds out of the package, a little bit easier to see. Look at those speckles. How fun is that? Reds and pinks. As always, if there is something you want, do like my mom did. Say yes. Let me know what color you want, the quantity you want, and whether you will pick it up or we will ship it to you. Here are the beautiful turquoises. I have to open that one up too. I wish they would have put them in there sideways so I wouldn't have to twist them, but look at that. So you've got a mostly solid, then tonal, then you've got the lighter with the dark speckles, and then the light. It's such a cool, it's fun to do gradients like this because they're all the same yarn and the same dye, they blend together really well. If you like the yarn, but neither one of those shawls seems like something you want to make, there are tons of ideas. I think on Earth's website, they have six or seven patterns as ideas for these kits. So here's the blacks and grays. We'll just open them all, right, to show you. Jackie, of course, Jackie means turquoise. So there, the black, dark gray, light gray with speckles, then light gray on its own. So which one didn't I show you? Well, I didn't show you the navy out of the blues out of the package, but you can see them in here. So I'll go over them again. I've got, which one did I show first? The blues. There are the blues. Then the reds. How pretty, beautiful. So I've got two of the blue, two, well, I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't. Two of the blue, two of the red, three each of the turquoise and the grays. So the turquoise, that's such a good turquoise. and then the gray. I think that would just look stunning. These grays would just coordinate with pretty much anything. Hi, Elaine. Tammy, will I be ordering other colors? Probably. I have had my eye on these gradient kits for a little while and just wanted to make sure that I had you know, some good ideas of things to make. So I tried to just pull a couple colors that I thought would go over well with people for this first round. But yeah, if you have requests, let me know too. Purple, definitely. Melissa has a purple kit. She was just showing me before we started the Zoom that her brother got for her. He had me drop ship it to her for Christmas last year. So yes, I will be getting other colors too at some point. Again, this is like everything else though. I don't know what's in stock. I don't know when it's going to be in stock. Earth is better than Malabrigo in terms of, and it comes from Turkey. Like they ship direct from Turkey and they still get here faster than Malabrigo, but Malabrigo's warehouse is having some staffing difficulties is what I'm being told. Okay, so turquoise is sold out. Pam wants a gray, and Melissa will keep track of all of this and we'll touch base afterwards. The other thing that I got from Earth were two different seasonal sock kits. So I've carried them before. You can see back here, I've got their Harmony one, which is the rainbow, and then I've got the zebra kit. So they come in 50-gram, two 50-gram balls, all pre-wound and ready for socks. That does not mean it has to be socks. It's still their fingering weight. Their sock yarn is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. 2 balls, 220 yards each. They retail for $26.99, and I got a Christmas one and I got a pink one. So they come in these cute little boxes. Look at this one. It's got little Christmas stuff all over it. I could not believe when I went into Meijer yesterday, they had Christmas, all sorts of things out. And then I got this. But look at that. They show you how it stripes, but it would be a really cute scarf. The stripes gradiate both of them, which is kind of, it's such a neat technique. So the reds go from bright to dark and the greens go from lighter to dark. So I have 5 each. So I have 5 of these kits. I feel like I need to open one just so you guys can see the colors outside the box. Look at how pretty that is. You can see how it's going to stripe. Got some of the lighter greens, some of the darker reds. Just really cool. And then the other ones I got are the pink stripes, which again, I think would be a really neat scarf. Fingerless mitts. These would work really well for fingerless mitts. Look at that. A couple times a year, Earth comes out with limited edition kits, whether it's sock kits or like the Harmony yarn that I got. The last year they did the Pantone colors of the year, the gray and yellow. So look at that. So it's all pinks, and it looks like you might just get lights and darks, but there is actually going to be a stripe that shows up depending on what you make. If you made something like this shawl, it would take 2. And because your stripes would get longer, your rows would get longer and longer, you wouldn't see that stripe effect as much. But doing something like socks, fingerless mitts, you can see a little bit how, well, I guess you can't really. I was thinking as your stitch count changed, you could see the stripes change, but by the time you get up here to the toe, there isn't really enough to see. And it looks like their picture on here, they did a traditional heel flap or some sort of heel flap, but you don't really see much of the change in the stripes on the front of the foot. Hi, Nat. Jackie, yes, this pink is beautiful. So it comes with 2 of those little 50-gram skeins in there. So those I will have in the shop as well. So that's what I got in new. Oh, and one thing you may or may not know, or you may have noticed but not really understood what it meant. If you get any yarn from Earth, whether it's a sock kit or some of their bulkier weight yarn, you'll see a little note in there that says, we will plant a tree. Well, let's see. What does it say? Does this one not say it? We'll plant a tree for every additional one. Each kit of Earth yarns plants a tree in Africa. Each skein that you buy individually, for each skein you buy, they plant a tree in Africa. So how do they keep track of it? They keep track of it based on what I buy. One thing they started to do, which I thought was really cool, is they send me this little card that tells me. So this shipment, it says, "Dear Little Yarn Shop, for your order today, Earth will plant 75 trees in Africa." I noticed with my last shipment, they put one of those in here, and that's really, really cool. So it says, "We're happy to let you know that knitting is just another way to keep the earth green. Every skein of Earth yarn plants a tree. Thanks for helping Trees for the Future in their mission to provide families with tools and knowledge to plant trees in Africa." So Trees for the Future is the name of the organization they work with. I think it's such a neat thing. It does say on the box for the pink socks that 10% of the profits goes to the National Breast Cancer Coalition. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that too. Okay, so I got a little off track in terms of projects. This is what I'm wearing. What am I working on? The Stephen West Shawlography. We got clue 3. I finished it. I finished it Saturday night. I was so close. It's only 2 sections, but the rows are getting longer. So, and they are a little bit time intensive. So brioche. If you've not done brioche, something like this is a good way to start, where it's straight up and down brioche. If you don't even want to think about doing the brioche, he does give you another lace option. But what I think is cool about brioche is you can see one color on my knit stitches, and then you can see this dark color. Well, it's the opposite on here. You can see the pink, and then you can see my Saginaw sunset color in the background. It's very, very squishy. It's just such a neat look. It is not easy to rip out. It is not easy to, it's easier to drop down and repair than it is to rip out. But it's a fun technique, and I just love the look afterwards. There are some brioche patterns that do all of these waves in and out and all kinds of really cool stuff. Andrea Mowry has a couple really cool, and Stephen West, of course, does too. So then the second part of that clue was these little, that's the wrong side. I'm gonna show you the right side. These little crisscross guys. They're very similar to something that was in the Casapinka shawl. Which you can't see as clearly on mine because of the variegated yarn, but similar technique where you yarn over a bunch of times, which was not the fun part of this. Holly, I think I was on clue 3, I'm on clue 2, just starting the triangles, loving new techniques. Yes. That's one of my favorite things about this pattern is that you do get to do all kinds of different techniques. And I think Stephen West is really good about encouraging people to try different things and really take the time, go slowly, and challenge yourself. Say yes, don't stress. We said that a lot this weekend too. So there are those little crisscrosses. We have one clue left that comes out this Friday. I will be curious to see where he goes from here. And I know there are definitely people that want to wait until it's all finished so they can see the finished project before they start something like this. And that's perfectly fine too. I have still quite a few people that come in and want to start and knit the Snarkometer now that they've seen it all done, which I don't blame them. I almost want to make another one. So while I'm waiting for the next clue to come out, I decided to cast on a baby sweater. And I have been raving about this pattern. And actually I'm doing, it says 6 to 12 months, but I've not been around little people very much to know size-wise how this compares. So I'm working on the body. The yarn I'm using is Knit Call. It's 100% superwash wool, a DK weight. If you did something small like a beanie hat, you would get this little patterned stripe. What's fun is as my rows grow, the stripes change. It's just so bright and colorful. So the pattern is Buttons Cardigan number 606. Very specific, but look at how cute that is. So I'm doing the 6 to 12 month size, and this the designer is Dana Gibbons, and I need to pull up more of her patterns because I am just in love with the way she writes this. For it being essentially a 2-page pattern, the actual instructions are 2 pages long, but it's top down. She puts such good information in there, little tips and tricks, letting you know that once you're done with the collar, there's a reminder that your right side is going to become your wrong side because of the way that you fold it over. She has you put button holes on both sides of the sweater. So they're on the same row, both sides of the sweater. That way you can decide once it's done, if you want the buttons on the left or the right. Wherever you want to actually sew the buttons, you just sew them right over that buttonhole, and you know they're going to line up. Something I have never seen in a top-down sweater is the way it's designed to knit the sleeves. Whoops, I lost my ball of yarn. Look at how fun that is. So how's it designed? If you've knit top-down sweaters before, like if you've done Marie Green's knit-alongs or really any top-down sweater, the standard procedure is you knit until you are ready to separate for the sleeves. Put your sleeves on cables or waste yarn, knit the body, then go back up and pick the sleeves up and knit your sleeves down. The way this is done, you guys, is you knit across the front till you get to the first sleeve. You knit your sleeve. So there's no putting it on waste yarn. There's no coming back and doing it later. You knit it as soon as you come to it, as soon as it separates from the body. She's got instructions in there for doing both flat and in the round. So I did it flat because I didn't have any little needles with me when I was out of town. I did it flat. You knit the sleeve, bind off, break your yarn, go back, knit the body across the back, do the same thing with the second sleeve. This one I seamed up earlier today because I was bored. Just did a little mattress stitch on it and then knit across the front. I think it's brilliant. Hi, Cora, you found me. Now all I have to do is finish knitting the body. The sleeves are done, other than this one. This little guy's got to be seamed. But it's such a neat idea. I've never seen a sweater pattern that's written like that, and I think it's great in terms of being if this was maybe your first cardigan, it's a great way to not get so confused with having to put your stitches on waste yarn and come back and pick them up later. You just knit them as you go. So that is the, what is it? Buttons cardigan. It's great for boys or girls. I think it's so sweet. It's going to take 4 of these balls. I don't know, maybe some of you that have little people in your life can tell me, Holly, you've got little grandbabies around. Because that, obviously, it's going to be longer, but sleeve length, body wise, width wise, does it look like a 6 to 12 month? To me, it looks bigger, but I don't know. I need somebody with a little person to come in the shop and I can try it on them. Used to be Carrie. Carrie would bring her little one into the shop and I could put sweaters on her and try it out. The yarn is Knit Call. One moment, I will go grab it. They come in little 50-gram balls. Like I said, for that size, it takes 4. And I have a couple different colors. A few different colors. Okay, so the color I'm using is 86. Reds, pinks, purples. But then they've got 75 is blues and grays. If you know you want to make it for a boy, or if you want to do something in blues and grays, this yarn is great for so many things. I've done a baby hat out of it. Pat did the cutest little long stocking cap for one of the grandbabies, soon to be, well, on the way, still in the oven. Yes, Josie said the same thing. Great yarn for baby hats. So here, this color is 53. That's more of the primary colors. They are $9.99 a piece. And so, like I said, you need 4 for this size, which is what Holly said, probably closer to the 12 months. Color 71, these purples and blues. Look how pretty that is. I think this one's fun. 64. Dark blues, bright greens. How cool is that? Something a little bit more non-traditional versus, straight up blues. And then this is color 68. It just looks like the 70s to me. Looks like my daughter's carpet that was in her room before we finally got around to replacing it. But it's a really, it's a really great warm colors. These would actually be really good for DK weight socks. If you wanted to make a little bit of a heavier sock for somebody, these would work really well for that, I think. So that's Knit Call yarn. What's next on my list of things? Oh, so what I did this past weekend, I told you guys I would have a little bit something different. Of course, I had yarn to show too, but I got to play customer and tourist on the west side of the state. I went over with Melissa and Julie and Sarah and Gail and got to participate in the Yarn Quest. So there were 8 shops, 8 yarn stores on the other side of the state that participated. And it went for a week and a day, like Saturday to Saturday. And we went the last 2 days, split it into 2 days and got to check out all the shops. it was neat. It's done differently than the I-75 yarn crawl. Obviously, there are a lot more shops participating in the I-75 yarn crawl, but each shop on Yarn Quest had free patterns to give away. They had a knit pattern or a crochet pattern. They had both. You could choose one or the other, which one you wanted. They had samples on display. One of my souvenirs, I guess I got, was that most of the shops had their own little stitch markers, which I'm guessing they're probably from Katrinkles. But there's I've got one from Threadbender and New You and Garenheis, JT Stitchery, Chicks with Sticks, Country Needleworks. There were a couple that were out. But it's fun just to have little souvenir from each place, and you can never have too many stitch markers, that's for sure. My favorite pattern of everything that I got was from fellow shop owner Becca over at Threadbender. That shop has been open a long, long time. I believe her mom opened it, and now Becca is the one that pretty much does everything there. She did this 4-color, it's called Peculiar Plaid Shawl. Isn't that neat? So she did 3 colors of blue, and then, well, 2 blues, a green, and then that pop of bright yellow. It takes 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I did pick up some souvenir yarn while I was out. I don't have that to show you guys, but besides the stitch markers, I got yarn from a few different shops to make this, because I thought that would be a good thing for me to remember, but remember the shops by. This pattern is so neat in terms of, again, one of those looks much more complicated than it is. Essentially, if she's got another picture here that will give you a better idea. The pattern is available on Ravelry. Melissa just posted a link to that. But do you see how there are little sections, even though this is a blue stripe that goes all the way across, these vertical stripes are put in afterwards. So this is just stripes, blue, bright, green, bright, blue. She does change the textures between each little section, so it looks like more work. It's really a neat idea. There's some seed stitch, some stockinette stitch. And then if you've seen, a lot of the plaid patterns have this technique where you create a purl ridge that goes down, up and down. Then when you're all done, you go back in and crochet like slip stitches, a chain up, and it gives you that plaid look. You're not having to carry the yarn, do intarsia, none of that. Malcolm, when you go to a shop, do you let them know you are a shop owner, or are you a secret shopper? It depends. This time I did not. A lot of times, if the shop is quiet and I want to talk to the owner about the shop, whether it's pointing out something I was really impressed by, or letting them know their staff was doing a really good job, I will let them know that I'm a shop owner. This time, the only one I said anything to was Becca at Threadbender, because we hadn't actually met each other in person. We've talked on Facebook before. We're part of similar groups. But with the yarn crawl going on too, I don't want to add more stress to everything going on. And sometimes it's fun to just be incognito. Apparently I'm not as popular as I think I am. So I wasn't, madly recognized every place I went. So that's I think that might be one of my upcoming projects. Although I may end up doing 2 of those, because I might pull some yarn from the shop. But one of these shops I stopped at, Chicks with Sticks, had ridiculous, well, a couple of them had ridiculous yarns, which you guys know that I carry. We were talking about Winifred earlier. But they had two bases of yarn. So the actual material the yarn's made with, dyed by Brie, that I don't have. So I picked up a couple skeins to play around with, and probably will be ordering the next time I put an order in, which will be soon. One is, the label just came off. Here we go. So Ridiculous. The color is Chesapeake Sunset. I just bought myself a souvenir skein of this, but it is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. You guys, all you have to do is just feel this, and it is just luxury. So I hadn't gotten this before from her, but I will be getting it from her in the future. Look, it's got this little fuzzy halo to it. Oh, it's right up there with that Malabrigo Caprino with the cashmere and yumminess. She also has a new slub yarn. So it's fingering weight, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. This one's called Sweatpants and Cardigans. It's one of Brie's newer colors. I think it's so cool. But look at all these little slubbies in there. I grabbed one. I bought one because I thought it would be fun to play around with. But I would be curious if anybody has any, if you've worked with any slub yarn lately, and if you've got any good pattern ideas for it. Because this is a new yarn for Brie, she just started dyeing this base. There isn't a lot on Ravelry in terms of pattern ideas. So Lisa, they both were fingering weight. So 437 yards, 438 yards for both of them. They're gonna be so lovely. So if you have any ideas what I can do with this slubby yarn, I believe, oh, what was the name of the first place we went? Henny's had a sample knit up of a cowl where they had held the slub yarn with another fingering weight yarn. But I'm curious. It's, you know, like a lot of things, it was popular and then it went away in popularity. Now it's back in popularity, and I think it's fun, these little textures, and I like it when the yarn does the work. Why not? Makes it look like we did more than we really did, but we get to enjoy it. Jackie, I think my stash is going to grow. Of course it is. So be on the lookout for that. I will be getting more of that in. If there are colors you would like to see for those two bases or any of the other, the sparkle, I carry her regular sock yarn, her sparkle sock, DK, superwash, worsted superwash. If there are colors you want to see, let me know. I'm always looking for input from you guys. Now, the one thing, new toy that I wanted to show to you all are pearl strings. What are pearl strings? Pearl strings come in these little cases. Look at how cute that is. Looks like colorful spaghetti. Look at that, colorful spaghetti. But they are pieces of silicone tube. This is my little sample one, so I don't have to take one of those out of the whole container. Each little tin sells for $15. You get 3 pieces of tubing in there, and we'll talk about lengths and stuff in a minute, but I wanted to show you, what do you do with this? So if, let's say this was a big old sweater for myself instead of this little tiny thing, and I wanted to try it on. instead of having to put a longer cord on and putting the tips on, making sure things don't fall off, this easier to do when I'm not showing you guys. This little tube, tiny little thing, goes right on the tip of your needle. Get it stuck on there good. Then you can slide your stitches, kind of inchworm them, but you can slide all of your stitches on to this tubing. It's amazing, you guys. Well, I'm almost to the end of my little piece of tubing, but for trying sweaters on, for doing so many things, if you want to change out, will tubing stretch over needles? Yes. Even though it's really tiny, let me see if I have a random needle around here. Apparently I don't, but it will. It will give you that same tight fit no matter what the needle size. And actually, I think it'd be a little bit easier to slide the bigger stitches. Then when you're done, you do the opposite. Slide your needle back on, slide the tubing off, put everything back. So the sets that I have for $15 come with 3 pieces of purl strings, 3 strings in there. One is 2.5 meters long. So if a meter is 3 feet, that's 7.5 feet. We'll take this one apart. They're all different colors. This one is a multi. I said I wasn't going to take any of them apart, but it's easy to see in this set because they are 3 different colors. So 2 pieces are 1 meter, 3 feet. So I've got the brown one and the white one in this set are the shorter pieces, really not short. The longer piece is 7.5 feet long. Look, this is doubled. 7.5 feet long. So with one of these sets, you could put this on your body, put these on your sleeves, try the whole thing on, and you're not dealing with really tight or stiff cords. If you did it that way, you're not dealing with, you could use these to put your sleeve stitches on instead of waste yarn, and it would be easier to put everything back on needles when you're ready to knit them. I just am so excited about these. So I got a shipment of them in, when did I leave? Last Thursday. I have about half of them left because I wanted to wait and show you all first, but I also was so excited about it. I started talking about it last week. And so the girls snatched some up over the weekend. But if you are a sweater knitter, a shawl knitter, I took a long piece and put my Stephen West shawl on it so I could stretch it all out. The picture that I took, that I posted, I don't remember when I posted it, but after I had section 2 done with the 2 long pieces, I put the tubing, I took the needles out, put the tubing on so I could stretch out the whole thing, because really, yeah, it's getting big. And even if I had a 60-inch cord on there, you wouldn't be able to see it. Give me just a second, you guys. I think my earbud's dying. Give me a minute to make sure that you guys can still hear me okay. Hi. Uh-oh. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Melissa says I'm good. All right. So $15 for the set. They are going to go fast. Like I said, every set is a different color. Most of them are all a solid color. Like Well, let's just grab one here. Latte. So there's kind of a pale cream one. Most of them have every cord the same color, but I got a couple that are just multi ones. So yeah, put in the comments if you want one set aside, if you want me to add one to an order, if you've got other things you're ordering, I'd be happy to do so. They are going to go fast. Other shops have been getting them and just, I mean, it's worth the investment. It's worth saving the hassle. I don't know. I think it's brilliant. Okay. So yeah, the sets are $15 a piece. You get the 3 strands in there. It would be a great little idea for stocking stuffers for crafty friends. If you're part of a knitting group and you like to exchange things every year, this would be a great little thing to get for something like that. Just a thought. All right, I think that is everything on my list. Again, if you tuned in a little bit late, these videos do stay up on Facebook. Once the live ends, it will repost on Facebook, so you can always go back and watch it later, or watch it again if you just can't get enough of me the first time. But for your stocking, yes, there you go. I like it. I will be back to talk to you all next Monday. It will be November. I can't believe that. Holly, yes, I've got probably like 30 of them. Maybe 20. About half of them left, I think. I don't know. I'm not good at estimating things. A week after next Monday, so 2 weeks from today, I will be in California. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a live or not. It will depend on how our schedule is going, where we are, how much time we've spent in wine country. But I will be here next Monday, which would be the 1st, I think, November 1st or 2nd, November 1st. 7 o'clock, as always, or as close to it as I can get. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you are inspired to start something or finish something or just make some progress on something. Keep positive. Like Stephen West says, say yes, don't stress. It's just knitting. You know, if you need help, we're here for you Wednesday through Saturday. If you have any questions, you can message the shop, you can text or call the shop, or stop in and see us. All right, everybody have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.